Imagine discovering that a simple, ancient botanical, maybe even something you've got growing in a pot right now, could actually hold the molecular keys to fighting modern superbugs and cancer. You'd probably assume that's just folklore, right? Well, when modern pharmacologists actually analyzed the extracts of this specific plant, what they found was, honestly, nothing short of staggering. Welcome to this explainer. Let's dive right in and bridge the gap between traditional ethnomedicine and the absolute bleeding edge of clinical research.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the elixir of life. Second, under the microscope. Third, fighting modern superbugs. Fourth, stress, aging, and radioprotection. And finally, we'll explore the medical frontier.
All right, Section 1, the elixir of life, ancient wisdom meets modern science.
So for thousands of years across the Indian subcontinent, this member of the mint family wasn't just respected, it was literally revered. We're talking about powerful titles like the Incomparable One and Mother Medicine of Nature. It was a massive cornerstone of traditional Ayurvedic medicine, fundamentally believed to foster longevity and harmonize the body's entire system.
Now, notice the striking dual nature of our subject here. Historically, traditional healers relied on it to treat things like bronchitis, malaria, diarrhea, and arthritis. But fast forward to today, and its clinical trajectory is just wild. Modern scientists aren't just brewing it into tea, they're actually using it for biogenic nanoparticle synthesis. They're using it to break down drug-resistant bacterial biofilms. It's like the ancient folklore is transforming into hard, undeniable scientific fact right before our eyes.
Moving on to Section 2, under the microscope, unlocking the phytochemicals.
When researchers finally put Ocimum sanctum through modern chromatography, they uncovered an incredibly dense, complex array of phytochemicals. It's practically a botanical treasure chest. As you can see on the table, we're talking about phenolics like rosmarinic acid, triterpenoids that show massive anti-inflammatory potential, and even completely novel discoveries, compounds unique to this plant, aptly named ocimosides A and B. But within this super rich profile, there's one specific compound that absolutely steals the show.
Meet eugenol. Depending on exactly when the plant is harvested, this single molecule can make up the vast majority of the plant's essential oil, and it acts as the primary engine for the plant's therapeutic potential. It drives the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects by inhibiting cyclooxygenase. And if that sounds familiar, well, that's actually the exact same pain-relieving pathway targeted by common over-the-counter drugs like ibuprofen. Pretty amazing, right?
Okay, Section 3, fighting modern superbugs, antimicrobial and antibiofilm action.
These findings summarize some truly incredible in vitro studies. Take dengue, for instance. Without a widespread vaccine for dengue, researchers tested this extract on the dengue 2 virus and achieved a massive 99.28% inhibition, almost total shutdown. It also shows powerful action against drug-resistant fungal infections like multiple strains of Candida. It even downregulates efflux pump genes in multi-drug-resistant bacteria. Basically, it strips the bugs of their ability to just spit out antibiotics. And on a more relatable day-to-day level, it inhibits Streptococcus mutans, which is the primary culprit behind your dental cavities.
And that leads us to a really fascinating emerging field called green synthesis. Traditionally, making microscopic medical tools requires some pretty harsh, toxic chemicals. But here, researchers take the aqueous leaf extract of Tulsi and combine it with silver ions. The plant's natural chemistry acts like a factory, creating biogenic silver nanoparticles. When they deploy these eco-friendly nanoparticles, they physically destroy multi-drug-resistant E. coli and staph biofilms by over 80%. It is literally nature manufacturing nanotechnology.
Let's jump into Section 4, stress, aging, and radioprotection, the adaptogenic power.
So by definition, an adaptogen is a natural substance that helps normalize your physiological functions when your body is under severe stress. Researchers found that under physical restraint stress, those newly discovered compounds we mentioned earlier, specifically ocimoside A and B, actively modulate dopamine and serotonin levels in the brain. It quite literally prevents the central nervous system changes that are usually induced by acute stress. Its efficacy actually rivals standard synthetic anti-stress drugs.
Now, what's truly fascinating is how this translates to aging. Look at this data on C. elegans nematode worms. Treating them with just a tiny amount, 1 milligram per milliliter of the crude extract yielded startling results. The extract didn't just act as a basic antioxidant, it dramatically increased their tolerance to severe thermal stress and actually extended their overall lifespan. It actively modulated their cellular signaling to help them survive longer under some really harsh conditions.
But it gets better. This systemic protection actually extends to radiation. Studies show that phytochemicals in the plant, like orientin and vicinin, provide profound radioprotective properties. In animal models exposed to gamma radiation, the extracts selectively protected normal, healthy tissues from radiation sickness and mortality. It literally prevented radiation-induced DNA damage, all while still allowing the radiation to have its intended tumor-killing effects. That kind of selective protection is a huge deal. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the medical frontier, oncology and nanotechnology. When you translate all this complex molecular data into real-world applications, you get some staggering breakthroughs. We are seeing biogenic silver nanoparticles successfully inducing apoptosis, that's programmed cell death, and decreasing viability in HeLa cervical cancer cells. We're seeing specific compounds like apigenin target and inhibit the exact enzymes that prevent severe diabetic foot ulcers from healing. Researchers are even using the leaf extract to mediate the green synthesis of titanium dioxide for diabetic wound gels. And incredibly, they're biosynthesizing palladium-doped nanoparticles to create highly sensitive environmental gas sensors for NO2. The versatility here is just unmatched.
It's truly wild to think about. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought today as we wrap up our deep dive bridging the gap between historical reverence and modern pharmacology. If an ancient, sacred herb, revered for thousands of years and currently sitting in household pots around the world, holds the exact molecular keys to synthesizing cancer-fighting nanoparticles and dismantling multi-drug-resistant superbugs, what other incredible cures are simply hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to put them under the microscope? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep your curiosity sharp.